In ancient Sparta, a ritual steeped in violence and controversy was an annual certainty. The inauguration of the 5 ephors, who formed an influential council elected to serve for a full year, was marked by the shedding of blood. This council wielded considerable power, operating independently of the Spartan dual kingship system, the diarchy where 2 kings ruled as military commanders. The ephors held such sway that they could depose these kings if deemed necessary. Upon taking office, one of their first acts was to declare war, but not against a neighboring city-state or polis. This declaration was against the Helots, essentially their own serfs. It's a complex mechanism that we understand today largely through the writings of ancient historians like Plutarch. The war against the Helots was not a typical battle but rather a covert operation, and only the young Spartans were recruited for this task. These young men were participants in the Crypteia, a secretive institution that was part rite of passage and part military training, designed to craft them into the unyielding, disciplined warriors known as Spartiates. The chosen few for this operation were the most promising of the youth, and they were equipped with only the barest of necessities: a simple garment, a knife, and a minimal ration of food. Scattered across the countryside, these young Spartans would observe the Helots, gather intelligence, and ultimately eliminate those they deemed the strongest among them. To grasp the reasoning behind such a brutal tradition, which bears more resemblance to a primitive rite of initiation than to any civilized practice, one must understand who the Helots were to Sparta. The prevailing theory about their status as a subjugated class suggests that the Helots were originally inhabitants of Laconia and Messenia, territories long ago conquered by the militaristic Spartans. Unlike Rome, which would sometimes integrate conquered peoples by extending citizenship, Sparta chose not to admit these individuals into its exclusive society. Instead, the conquered were relegated to a non-citizen class, though not all were enslaved. The Helots were an unfree class, distinct from the Perioeci, who were free but also non-citizens. Together, these groups made up the majority of the population in the region known as Lacedaemon, which encompassed both Laconia and Messenia, and they were directly subordinate to the Spartiates. The Spartiates, who enjoyed the full privileges of citizenship, were dedicated to governance and warfare and did not engage in the day-to-day activities of the other social strata. The Helots resided in small communities, tilling the soil on the estates of the Spartiates, and their primary obligation was to hand over half of their agricultural yield to the landowners. It's important to note that the number of non-citizens vastly exceeded that of the Spartiates. Such a demographic imbalance was a source of constant concern for the ruling class, which was determined to maintain its grip on power. The greatest perceived threat, as chronicled by historians of the era such as Thucydides, emanated from the Helots. Their potential uprisings were considered a greater danger to Sparta than wars with external adversaries like Athens or invasions by foreign powers such as the Persians. The fear of a Helot revolt was not unfounded. In 464 BCE, a devastating earthquake struck, causing significant damage to the city of Sparta. Seizing the moment, the Helots revolted against their oppressors and fortified themselves on Mount Ithome, leading to a protracted conflict that lasted a decade before the Spartans could claim victory. The Spartans were known for their retributive nature, and they never missed an opportunity to remind the Helots of their subordinate status. This is exemplified by the events of 424 BCE in Lacedaemon, where as many as 2,000 Helots were executed. It is believed that it was around this time that the annual purges of the Helot population began. The young initiates of the Crypteia did more than just quell potential insurrections. They honed their skills in espionage and intelligence gathering. Thus, it is not surprising that many scholars consider the Crypteia to have been an early form of a secret police force, tasked with maintaining the status quo in a society structured on rigid hierarchies and sustained by the subjugation of the majority. That, my fellow history buffs, concludes today's journey into the past. If you enjoyed diving into the depths of history with us, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from the past. Your support fuels our passion for uncovering the mysteries of bygone eras. Until next time, keep exploring, learning, and bringing history to life. Thanks for watching.